Hi, ADHD friends. Ready to become gutsy cooks? Let's start now. Hi, gutsy cooks and ADHD friends. Today we're going to make mixed berry cobbler. Once again, we only have 5 ingredients for our 5 ingredient or less friends. You're going to love this. One caveat, it does have sugar. So if you cannot tolerate sugar, look for a sugar substitute like monk fruit, a 1-to-1 sugar substitute that you can tolerate or you do like. So let's get started. Gather your equipment, your ingredients, and yourself. The equipment and ingredients for this recipe is on the slide above. You can either pause it here to collect your ingredients or let it run. Usually I give some tips and tricks along the way, and I do read the ingredients for our visually impaired friends. You'll need a baking dish, 13 by 9, a colander, an airtight container, measuring cups, measuring spoons, a liquid measuring cup, a medium mixing bowl, a whisk, and a ladle or a large spoon. For ingredients, you'll need you could even use 4 to 5 cups of berries. We use blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. Usually the combination I use are raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. You'll need 3/4 cup of sugar, 1 stick of salted butter, that's 8 tablespoons, a whole stick, 1 cup of self-rising flour, and another 3/4 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of milk. You can use skim milk or whole milk, either way. Get ready. There are 2 steps in the get ready process. The fruit needs to soak in sugar. It's called macerating the fruit. So first you're going to place the colander into the sink and add the berries and rinse well. You see I'm adding the berries here. I'm rinsing them in their containers instead of a colander, but you can do it either way. You're going to add all that fruit to the container, and then you're going to pick the fruit over. And what I mean by that is anything that looks mushy or green or has a stem on it, you need to kind of pick through that stuff because you don't want that in your cobbler. If it doesn't look like you want to pick it up and eat it here, you're not going to want to eat it in your cobbler either. So it's important to do that. After you've picked over the fruit, you're going to add your sugar. I reduce this to usually a 1/2 cup of sugar instead of 3/4, but that's up to you. Then you're going to place your lid on top of the container and give it a little shake. That needs to sit in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 hours or overnight before you proceed with the rest of the recipe. Once the fruit is ready, you're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Then you're going to take your baking dish and you're going to put that stick of butter right in the baking dish and put it in the oven to melt. So that you don't forget it's there, set a timer for 5 minutes. If it's not quite melted, then reset your timer for another 2 minutes, but it should be melted by then. While you're waiting for your butter to melt, measure out the flour, the sugar, and the milk. Combine. Add the flour and the second 3/4 cup of sugar to the mixing bowl and combine those dry ingredients with the whisk. I like to do that first. Then you're going to add the milk and whisk counting to 30. You want to count to 30 so that you get everything very well combined. You don't want a bite of flour in the middle of your cobbler. Now, even though you're whisking it, it may have a few lumps. You don't need to worry about that. The next step is to remove the hot baking dish from the oven and pour the mixture over the butter. Once you have all of the batter out of the mixing bowl, you're going to ladle the fruit evenly over the top of the batter. You're going to spread this evenly throughout the dish, but towards the end, you are going to end up putting some fruit over other fruit, and that's just fine. Remember, this dish is hot, so use the pot holders to place the baking dish back into the oven. Heat. Bake in the oven for 35 minutes. Set a timer. Check after 35 minutes. If it still looks pale, bake for an additional 5 more minutes and set a timer. Check after those 5 minutes, and if it's still pale, bake for 5 more minutes. Set a timer. I wouldn't recommend baking for a total of more than 45 minutes or it's going to get hard and yucky. Finish and serve. There's our beautiful cobbler. That's exactly what it should look like. And you can see what golden brown looks like right there. You can still see it's still bubbling. It's quite hot when it first comes out, but this dish is yummy, hot, cold, or reheated. You can just take a spoon, probably should use the larger serving spoon than that, and you put it into the bowl. You can serve it on a plate or a bowl. I recommend a bowl because this is great with vanilla ice cream, little a la mode action. That's probably a little larger than a typical serving, but this is so yummy. I doubt any will be left after 24 hours. There you go, guys. That's more of a typical serving. 13 by 9 pan should make about 12 servings of this. I really hope you enjoy it. It reminds me of vacation. It's so quick with the, 5 ingredients. Feel free to play with the sugar. This is sugar heavy, so if you want to cut those back to 3/4 or 1/4 cup of sugar, see what you can tolerate best. I'm giving you the traditional berry cobbler recipe. Oh, one other pro tip. You can also use frozen fruit. If you keep a bag of mixed berries in your freezer, you can add that to your pantry magic. This could easily be something that you have when you come home from work. If you go ahead and take them out of the freezer, put the sugar in, you can certainly have this for a treat by the end of the night. All right, my ADHD friends and Gutsy cooks, enjoy this. Now go get gutsy. If you like this recipe, please subscribe. Thank you for your time and attention. Now go get gutsy.